Okay, got it. Okay, all right, so we're all set to go? Okay, okay. Okay, this meeting of the Kailua Village Design Commission will come to order. The time is 2:34 p.m. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sean Roth. I'm the chairperson of the Kailua Village Design Commission. And since we've been on the video streaming, I usually go down the list and introduce the commissioners that are on the call. And today we have 4 new commissioners, which means it's going to be so much easier for us to make quorum. So thank you all for being here and volunteering your time for this. And so one of our new commissioners, Sing Young, thank you for being here. And our vice chair, Elena Kilkuski.
Hi.
And one of our other new commissioners, Bronston Casau. Thank you for being. And another new commissioner, Coleman Kaopua.
Aloha.
Thank you for being here. And we have, let's see, my list just moved around on me. Returning commissioner, now voted in for what, 3 more years or something, Alani Greenwell. And then another new commissioner, Rebecca.
Can you get it? Lucia, yeah.
Lucia, yeah.
Hi, guys.
Okay, did I get everybody? I think so. Okay, great. Yeah, well, thank you all for being here, that we can actually get through and conduct our business here in the commission. The commissioner's role is to provide an architectural and design review of proposed projects, including landscaping and signage within the Kailua Village Special District. The commission is an advisory body. For sign permits, the commissioner's recommendations are forwarded to the Public Works Director for action. For architectural design review, the commissioner's recommendations are forwarded to the Planning Director for action. The procedures for this meeting are: the Roberts Rules of Order will be used to conduct the meeting. Each commissioner wishing to speak should be recognized by the chairperson before speaking. Applicants and members of the public should be recognized by the chairperson when testifying or asking questions. Public testimony will be taken. Each application will be heard in the order listed on the agenda. Staff will introduce each project. Applicants will be asked to make a presentation or statement, which will be followed by questions from the commissioners. The commission, after discussion, will vote to make a recommendation for approval, denial, or deferral. Also, because this is a video meeting, commissioners, we need you all to keep your video on throughout the meeting so that we can have the quorum verified. And then also, commissioners, I need to ask you, does anyone have anyone else in the room with you? If you do, please let us know. I may or may not have Kari Kimura in the room next door. She's been going in and out.
Yeah, I have my drafter, Winter Anderson, is here listening intently.
Okay, thank you. Well, and this is being streamed on YouTube as well. So, but that's like, we just have to make sure that, yeah,
I'll tell them to look up the YouTube as well.
We just need to be completely open about it. Okay. Well, thank you. The minutes from the meeting of March 7th were distributed. And I know that new commissioners, probably you don't have any way of knowing if those are accurate or not, but I think the other commissioners have already looked over them. Are there any corrections to those minutes? No. Okay, so hearing no corrections, say the minutes are approved. Are there any statements from the public of where the public wants to make the statement ahead of time rather than with the project.
Here, I had no statements from the public
Okay,
from email. Thanks.
okay, so for the record, no statements for the public. Okay, so move to the first item of new business. This is application PLKVD 2022-000021. The applicant, Stanley Anio, is requesting design review for two new wall signs at the new Grace Parish Center on the same property as St. Michael's Church, located at TMK 75008-006. The project includes installing a wall sign facing Elite Drive with an area of 19.5 square feet and a letter height of 10 inches and 15 inches, with letters made of stainless steel standoff metal painted black to match the storefront at an elevation of approximately 20 feet. The second wall sign faces the interior courtyard with an area of 12 square feet with maximum letter height of 8 inches tall. The letters made of stainless steel standoff metal painted off-white for contrast at an elevation of approximately 9 feet. The applicant is Stanley Hanio. Landowner is the Roman Catholic Church, TMK 75008-006, located at 75-5769 Ali Drive in Kailua, Kona. Will staff please give us an introduction to this application?
Yes, Chair, it's Roz Newland. I'm gonna share the screen here in a moment. There we go. Do you see that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
So these are two new signs for the new parish hall at St. Michael's Church. This is the location right off of Lee Drive. Parcel right here. There's an aerial view of it. That's my pointer here. I'm sure everyone's seen it, but let me get my pointer. The larger building is the church building that was reestablished or rebuilt or reconstructed after the earthquake in 2006 caused a lot of damage to the original church. So there was an SMA permit approved in 2010, I think it was. Yes, 2010, to allow the construction of the church, the rectory, which was going to be over here where this red square is, which instead they put the parking lot. And then the new parish hall over here to the south. They were going to have a pastor live in this two-story building over here, but they decided not to build it. And then the parking is in an L shape around it. Well, they also have parking in the front. They have grass paved parking in the front, and then they had a circular entrance in the front. And the new parish hall sign, you'll see a site plan in a minute. The new parish hall sign will be right here in front. And you'll see from the distance here, it's about 200 feet or 171 feet to the front of the building. Here's the distance right here. It shows it at 170 feet. Let's see if I can zoom in. That's not working. Why is that working? There we go. There's 170 feet. So this is the new parish hall. And that's about the location of the sign where that black, where this part of the building pushes out forward. And that's the landscaping plan that they're showing here. Oh, there's the site plan that the dark shadowed areas where the sign would be. That's an exhibit from the architectural site plan that they provided, which was a big part of the submittal, but it wasn't really needed. They just submitted it because they had it because they built the church in the new parish hall, so they submitted it with it. But I took this from that to show you the conceptual plan of how it does look now, pretty much. That's a representation of the colors as they were approved. You see this, the windows and the doorways. They have a tall steeple that was approved with a height variance, the variance from height limit that they don't show here really. I don't think that's it. This is the interior courtyard, so they'll be putting a sign right above these sliding glass doors. This interior courtyard sign meets the sign code for the Kailua Village Core, which is a sign area of 12 square feet and letter height no higher than 9 inches. So this one would meet the sign code. The sign facing LE Drive does not meet the sign code, so they'll have to work with the building division to see if they're gonna have to submit a variance application or not. Oops, let's try to make it bigger. Zoom, there we go. You'll see that the letter height is 10 inches and 15 inches. So it's taller than the 9 inches allowed for the Kailua Village Core. And it's just over 19.5 square feet when you put the two areas together. So one of their justifications was that they're 170 feet from the lead drive. So they can bring that up with the building division when they put together the variance application. And that's the courtyard sign with the white lettering. Zoom in here. See that is there. And that's how the sign would be for the one facing Lee Drive in the front of the building. And this is their quote, just they didn't have to provide that, but that's their quote going over the details for the sign costs and so forth. Any questions on this?
Okay, commissioners, does anyone have any questions for Roz? Okay, thanks, Roz.
Okay.
Does the applicant have anything they'd like to present? I see.
Stan, I believe you're on mute right now.
Sorry, how's that? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
If you could introduce yourself and go ahead.
So my name is Stan Hardy. I'm with St. Michael's Church. And I just wanted to do clarify one thing on the sign coloring on the interior courtyard. We're doing the same color scheme as the front, so it won't be white letters. It's the bronze letters.
Okay.
On that same color wall. And I also wanted to add, in addition to what Roz had mentioned earlier about being 170 feet from the road, as part of the plans, and you could see that on the overview drawing, we have numerous trees in the front. So from Ali'i Drive, once those trees are, get fuller, you might not even be able to see the building from Ali'i Drive. And the other thing I wanted to add that I think, and this might be one-sided for St. Michael's, I think we do our landscaping crew do a great job in maintaining the landscape. And if you drive through Ali'i Drive, I think it really adds to the aesthetics of the Kailua Village. Personally, I think the sign size letters that's recommended by our architects and what we had discussed in the drawings, I think it looks good. It's not overwhelming or loud or standing out in any fashion. But any support that we could get from you folks would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, thanks, Stan. Maybe can you just clarify one thing for me? Because I don't drive by there all that often, and so I'm trying to remember. Is there a sign on Ali'i Drive near the entrance at all?
Yeah, there's a small sign, maybe 3x3. That's our service schedule, a mass schedule. Yeah.
So there's something there that says that it's St. Michael's Church, right on Ali'i Drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just inside of the gate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So even if the trees grow up completely, you could still get a little bit of blue, yeah. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The question
yeah,
I keep,
Commissioner Dunn, go ahead.
okay, that I keep hearing about the variance from planning department. I wasn't clear exactly why they need a variance.
So, Roz, do you want to, could you explain that?
Yes, hold on just a moment. Lost my let me stop sharing for a moment so I can see my.
Okay.
Yes, so the variance is a variance from sign code chapter 3. Anytime you exceed the limits allowed by chapter 3, you would need to get a sign variance approved by from the Director of Public Works. So since the sign letters are taller than 9 inches and the area of the sign is greater than 12 square feet for the sign facing Lee Drive, it'll be up to Public Works to work with the applicant to get a sign variance application submitted. And then what Mr. Hanio has said is presented some of his justification for the larger letters and then how it would be mitigated by the trees in the front yard and the distance from the Lee Drive. So that's the purpose when you submit a variance is to provide your grounds for a variance. But that's what it is called, a variance from which allows exceptions from a county code. In this
Right.
case, chapter 3.
I have a question.
Yes.
So
yeah, Commissioner Lucia?
the letter height, that's regardless of the size of the wall. And they were describing on the distance from the road. So does that size depend on the size of the wall and the distance from the road? Could you clarify that for me? Please?
So the code specifies a set amount and
Yeah, 9 inches.
regardless of distance. And so that's why sometimes a variance is justified because of conditions on the site. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, so regardless of distance and regardless of the size of the wall that the sign is going on?
It has
Yeah.
set limits by letter height, letter area. And that is how it's stated in chapter 3 sign code, 9 inches maximum letter height. And 12-inch area for Kailua Village core, which is a set area within the core area of Kailua Village. Outside of the 4 areas, there's a larger area.
Thank you.
Commissioners, does anyone else have any questions for the applicant?
Yes, I have one more question. Now, I understood
Commissioner
if
Young, go
I
ahead.
read it correctly yesterday. Is the sign made of metal?
Yes, it's made of yeah, it is made of like a bronze metal.
Is it that way the reflect the sun?
There, it shouldn't have any reflection. It's basically the same metal that we're using now on our railings, which over it's a short period of time, it should become a dull finish, and very minimal, if any, reflection.
You could, if I recall, you painted black, right?
No, it's called like a Tahitian bronze. It's like a dark brown.
Yes, as you know, the Ali Drive is a very heavy traffic, and especially you have the farmers market next door, and a lot of people walking up and down the street, and if a lot of reflection is not quite pleasant.
Yeah, there's no well, there shouldn't be any reflection, because we're using a lot of the same coloration materials from the existing construction, which has been now almost 8 years. And it's dull. I mean, I don't know how you say it, like a faded brown, dark brown. There's no shine to it.
It's like old weathered bronze, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get much less reflective than that. Yeah.
Almost like a flat finish.
Okay, Commissioners, any other questions for the applicant? No? Okay. So we can discuss this application then. And so for the new commissioners, just a little bit of history of the commission, and that sign applications where the signs are larger than what, than is just what's generally allowed, is one of the issues that is often leads to a lot of discussion and and impassioned opinions about things. And especially it's been in the cases of when we've had commercial applicants where they'll have extremely large lit signs, right, that that many people on the commission have felt are not really appropriate for the village to be oversized, for instance. And in some of those cases, the size and height variances have been, we've recommended that they are not allowed. But then in other cases, especially where there's distance, the size of the building, there's circumstances where it really makes sense to have the sign be larger. Then the commission has approved signs that require the variance, right? And then there's certain developments in the village that have that have established variances for that whole property that are sort of in force, and so then that changes the rules slightly for those, right? My opinion on this one is that that because of the distance, especially, and then also because of how just refined and simple this sign is, it doesn't have a lot of bright colors. It's not, it really fits the building. That the increase in size is more than justified. I think if that sign was made smaller, it would look like it was the wrong size sign for the building, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Of course, the one that's facing the courtyard is not overly large, and it's it's basically internal to the project. So I'm very much in favor of these signs as they were presented. Commissioners, does anyone have anything they'd like to add to the discussion?
Sorry, just one more question. Does this law apply the size to just permanent signage? Because I noticed that the King Kamehameha Hotel, they light up the side of the wall with the name in it. They may have gotten a variance for that, but I've seen that at night. They have a giant, so their little sign in front is small, but then at night they light up the side of the wall. So does that
there
a
are
way to
many
get around it, or is that just something that they got a variance for?
there are many signs in the village that are not permitted.
No, it's like from a projector.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's
so
very
that's-
likely. It's very likely that is not permitted. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's just at night, and then I've seen it, so I was just curious.
Yeah, and that's an issue that has always come up, many times with the commission is the fact that is enforcing the sign code is difficult, right? And so it can be a little bit frustrating that we have, applicants come through, they do it all exactly the way that they're supposed to, they get it all approved, and then next door they've got something that's not legal. So I'm happy that this applicant is doing it right. That's another reason why when applicants are doing it right and doing something that sort of fits nicely with the village and all that, I want to support them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioners, anyone else have anything they'd like to add to the discussion?
Chair.
Commissioner Sal? Yeah.
Does the agenda item need to be adjusted based off of his request for the change of the color of the sign?
Yeah, I don't think so. Especially because they're going to be going from white to bronze, which is even less bright.
Right.
That can be addressed in the motion, either way it goes. If they've modified the sign slightly.
And so then if, once we're done with discussion, then we'll ask for one of the commissioners, and usually it's not the chair, to make a motion regarding this application. And if there's nothing that we want to see different in the application, then the motion would be just to approve it as submitted, right? We can also add things to the motion, like we could say we approve it as submitted, and we support a variance for the size of the sign. Could also say we make a motion to accept it as submitted, and support a change of color from white to bronze, right? For instance.
Also,
Mayor?
too, real quick,
Okay, yeah, Commissioner Young?
Yeah, may I ask one more question? Because the one of commission, the question she has is at the nighttime, do you have light shining on the sign? I think that's the question she asked, like a King Cam. I don't go in the town at the night, so I really don't know what's going on. And her question is this sign at the front of Alii Drive is going to have a spotlight shining on it?
No, there's going to be no light on the sign.
Yeah, I think neither sign has lighting, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I just have a quick note on that. Yeah, on that elevation sheet, you're calling out that it's stainless steel metal painted black. So if you're gonna, any language I guess you're using to change from white to bronze, maybe you apply it to that elevation as well. The one that the sign that's facing the street.
Okay.
Say it's black. So just clarify that, I think, when you resubmit.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe Commissioner Kilkowski or Greenwell, since you guys are experienced here, would you care to make a motion regarding this application?
Yeah, I move to accept the application with the change in color as described by Mr. Haniel. And yeah,
And maybe supporting a
and
variance
support
for
the increase in size for the Alii Drive facing sign to 10 inches of letter height.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Greenwell, second by Commissioner Kilkowski. Is there any discussion on this motion? Okay, seeing no one on mute, let's vote on the motion.
Hey, Chair, it's Rosalind. I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Greenwell, motion maker.
Aye.
Commissioner Kaofua,
Aye.
Commissioner Kern is excused. Commissioner Kilkowski, second on the motion.
Aye.
Commissioner Casa,
Aye.
Commissioner Lucia,
Aye.
Commissioner Young.
Right?
Okay, we have majority votes of tonight's commissioners for aye to pass.
Thank
And the
you.
motion was accept application with changes to the signs by Mr. Hanai and to support the increase in height of letters and increase in sign area.
Great. Okay, the motion is adopted. Great, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Haniel.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So now we'll move to the next item of new business. Application PL KVD 2023-000031. The applicant, Mark Jazinkowski of MK Planning, is requesting design review for a new duplex located at 75-196 Alakai Street in Lonokono subdivision. The proposed duplex is a two-story building that consists of two 4-bedroom, 4-bath units each with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths upstairs, and 2 bedrooms, 2 baths downstairs, with 6 off-street parking spaces, landscaping, and associated improvements. The proposed exterior colors include tan gray tones with black charcoal fascia and gutters, white trim with white vinyl windows. The applicant is Mark Kierzinkowski, MK Planning, landowner Victor Kokharov, Avec Construction, TMK 75022-089, located at 75-196 Alakai Street in Kailua Kona. Staff, if you can give us an introduction to this application.
Okay, Chair, it's Rosnoan again. Let me share the screen. Okay, can you see that? Okay,
Not up yet, not up.
not up
quite
yet. Oh, what happened? Can you see that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, hold on.
There we go.
Let me get a slideshow. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay. This is agenda item number 2 for a new duplex. This is the tax map, and that's showing a circle of the new duplex parcel 89 near the corner of Alakai and, well, I shouldn't have done this, Loma Okiola, something like that. Okay. This is an aerial view. You can see it's a vacant lot. Here's the site plan. Oops. And that's showing the 6 parking spaces and the setbacks, which are 15 feet front and rear and 8-foot sides. Let me get my pointer here. Very big pointer. Okay, look at the next slide. Now there's a landscaping plan. The applicant is utilizing plants from the recommended plant guide in the master plan for Kailua Kona, using can't read this type of pond. I think he's using MacArthur, no, Alexander palms and spider lilies. And I can't read this because I've got it zoomed up too large. But all the plants are from the plant list, and they nicely go around the property. Oops! Oh, what happened here? Excuse me. Sorry. Again. This shows the floor plan. It's got each unit, there's 2 units. So each unit has 4 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms upstairs, 2 baths upstairs, and 2 bedrooms downstairs, with exterior stairs going down from each unit. There's the roof plan, solar panels on the roof. Here's a 2-story building. So the zoning is RD 3.75. So it's allowed to have 2 units because it's over 7,500 square feet. There's the color legend for the oh, that's cool, yeah. There's the charcoal fascia and the charcoal gutters and the white vinyl windows and the tan stucco color. There's a rendition of the 2-story building. And there's another rendition. I was talking to the applicant today, and he says that the owner is a contractor, and he built a similar property right next door. It's nice to see a new development in this area. We've seen quite a few projects in this right around the same few streets. So there's another rendition showing the charcoal gutter or fascia rather, and the white trim. And there's the parking. There's the exterior stairs and the exterior stairs on the other side, I believe. Okay, so, and after the design review, the applicant would then follow through with a plan approval application since it requires plan approval prior to building permit application. Any questions?
Okay. Okay, thanks, Roz.
Yeah.
Commissioners, does anyone have any questions for Roz?
Is it this new building I take it,
Yeah.
is it in through the planning process already?
No, they would need to first do a plan approval application, which they have not submitted yet. They were waiting for the design review to be completed. And then once they do that, they will submit a plan approval application. Most people wait to do a plan approval application in case there's any recommendations from the commission on anything. Any changes to landscaping or if there's any other comments that come through. And then they submit a plan approval application that takes 30 days for the director to make a decision per the zoning code. And then once that's completed, they can submit a building permit application. And then once
Just
they-
to clarify, they do have a plan approval in. It's on
Oh, they do?
hold.
Oh,
Yes,
okay, I
it's,
didn't realize that.
it's on
Sorry.
hold though. Yeah.
Thanks, okay. thanks.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Roz?
Yeah, can I ask why it's on
Yeah.
hold?
Commissioner Greenwell?
Because the application has not gone through design review, and there were some issues with some of the submission that had to be clarified.
Is it this gonna be rental
thanks.
property?
Okay, Commissioner Young?
Yeah, is it this gonna be a rental property? Yeah, the zone is correct, on 3.75, the is zoning is right, and but it's gonna be rental property.
That might be a question we need to ask the applicant. Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions for Roz?
I have a question.
Okay, Commissioner Kailua?
Yeah, is there any kind of grass ordinance we have? I'm not sure. I'm just asking. Like, is there a certain percentage of the property that has to be green grass or?
No, we have a rule 17 landscaping, but actually RD zoning does not actually have a requirement for landscaping. This was done by the applicant and was not required. RM residential multifamily does require landscaping by rule 17. This was all extra. And rule 17 has different types of landscaping required. It has front yard landscaping where you have a certain number of trees and shrubs and a front yard landscaping strip. And in open and resort zoning, resort hotel, it has a 20% requirement for landscaping, which includes grass areas can be part of it, but mostly there's a requirement for trees and shrubs. And grass can make up part of that 20%. But there has to be a certain number of trees.
But for this zone, there is no requirement, yeah.
I don't think so. I can look it up real quick. Let me look in the zoning code. I didn't see that there was anything. We do check for that during our plan approval. Let's see if it says that under other regulations. It does not. So there's not a specific requirement for landscaping in RD.
Okay.
I
And
have one more question.
Yeah, Commissioner Young?
And I saw the rendition, okay, the parking is, one of the cars in the parking is on the setback. It's okay? Is no problem with it and the parking can be in the setback?
Yes, parking can be in a setback.
Okay. Any other questions for Roz? Okay, not seeing anyone raise their hand. Does the applicant have anything they'd like to present?
Thank you, Commissioner Roth. Thank you, fellow commissioners. And
You could introduce yourself, please.
hi, everyone. I'm Mark Krasnowski. My screen seems to be a little fidgety here, but can everybody hear me fine?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Mark Krasnowski with M Planning. I'm a planner and designer. Mr. Koff couldn't be here today. He's contractor fully engaged in construction all day, every day. Thank you, Commissioner Roth. Thank you, fellow commissioner, and all the other commissioners, and thank you, Roz, for the presentation. I'd like to address a few of the questions that were presented here. First, I'll start with the grass. Although grass was not required, the plan did require a drainage study, and part of that study required some level of permeability to occur, or permeable surface to occur on the site, as opposed to just leaving it as dirt or the owner wanted to see something a little bit more friendly to kind of break up the hard surface down there. Additionally, I'd like to address the other question as far as the rental property dynamic. Mr. Kocherov is fully engaged in the Ukrainian refugee effort. He has been supporting certain families coming to the island as part of the war in the Ukraine. His intention is to house a few families here, so that way there's an effort here. So yes, the intention is rental housing. However, again, I can't predict what's going to happen in the future as uses change or who's going to be living in their changes. I think those were the two major questions. Like, were there any other questions for me?
Okay. Commissioner Young, go ahead.
And in that area, and before I said that it's a beautiful building, and this is going to be the most beautiful site I see in the Lonacona. And they have a lot of flood channel there. Is this property involved with that?
To address the flooding,
Okay.
so if you can see towards the front,
I'm not quite sure, and I'm familiar with the area. As I say, it's a beautiful building, and beautiful, and it's had a flood channel go through there.
It doesn't show it on a site plan.
no, it is located in Zone X.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
it's in Zone X, and in addition to that, it's somewhat elevated, and it was developed a retaining wall towards the front to levels of surface equal to the adjacent parcel Mauka of it, so to the east. They're at the same level. So from a street perspective, it's actually elevated. And the site's already been elevated as approved by building permit.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the building complete. It's beautiful.
Okay. And Mark, could you just confirm that this contractor that's going to be building this is the same contractor that built the one next door on the corner? Is that right?
Yes, he was involved in that project.
Okay.
Obviously, the contractors as well, but he was one
Yeah.
of the
Oh,
bidders.
is it the same owner? Is it the same owner then too?
Different.
Different owner. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Commissioners, does anyone else have any questions for the applicant? Okay. Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, so let's we can begin discussion of this application. I asked about the building next door because that one came through this commission a while back, and just having driven by it after the fact, I was sort of real happy with how it came out, because the quality of it was just a little bit higher than a lot of what you see in that area, and so it was nice to see that attention to it. And from the looks of this presentation, it looks like this is sort of heading in that same direction, and that they've added a lot of additional landscaping and things that would not necessarily be required, but they're putting in order to make it the project a little bit nicer. And the fact they're providing 6 parking spaces, I think, is also a benefit to the neighborhood. I think that's more than what's required for the two, or is it 6 or is required for the duplex? Okay,
4 would be required 2 each, so they are requiring, providing 2 more than required.
2 more than required. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. So they're providing that additional parking with, which again, I think is a good neighborhood benefit there. And then there's nothing in the colors or anything that is in any way objectionable. So I'm very much in favor of this application. Commissioners, would anyone else like to add anything to the discussion? No? Okay. Would anyone care to make a motion regarding this application then?
I would like to make a motion approve this project.
Okay, thank you. As Commissioner Young has made a motion to approve this application. Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, Commissioner Lucia is second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Sorry about the loud trucks from my place. Okay, I'm not seeing any discussion on the motion, so let's go ahead and vote on it.
Okay, Chair, it's Roz Newland. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Greenwell.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Commissioner Kaupua,
Aye.
Commissioner Kern is excused. Commissioner Kilkuski,
Aye.
Commissioner Casso,
Aye.
Commissioner Lucia, second of the motion.
Aye.
Commissioner Young, maker of the motion.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes with the majority of commissioners present.
Okay.
And the motion was to approve the project. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, motion is passed. Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for answering the questions.
Thank you, everyone.
So now we move to our third item of business on the agenda is application PLKVD 2023-000033. The applicant, William McCowett, is requesting design review for a new Lex Brody's Lube and Car Wash facility off Alahau Street at Henry Street, located at TMK 75004-013. The new lube and car wash facility is proposed as a 2-story building with a wash tunnel and equipment area and connected to a fast lube area with glass roll-up doors, an administrative break room area with off-street parking and landscaping improvements. The building exterior includes lava rock veneer with stucco siding, color warm stone, standing seam metal roof, color country red, along with CMU walls, color black mountain, and metal trim, color charcoal. There are 2 approved easements on site for archaeological site preservation purposes with lava rock enclosures. The applicant, William McCowett, landowner, Hawaii Lube Company, LLC, TMK 75004-013, located at 75-5697 Alahau Street, Kailua, Kona. Staff, if you can give us an introduction to this application, please.
Hey, Chair, it's Roz Newland again. Let me share the screen. A moment here. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is for the new car wash and lube station by Lex Brody's. There's an aerial of the location going, this is from going up Henry Street from Kukini, and at the top there is Queen Kaamana Highway. And it has an easement, this bottom, let me get my pointer again, sorry. This bottom roadway here is actually an easement, and that provides access into their lot. And they actually have another easement cutting through the middle, as I recall. We'll see on their site plan. Yeah, that's actually Alaho on the bottom, and they have an easement over here towards the middle where they're gonna gain access to, so they'll have two entrances. There's the new access road on the right and the access off of Alaho on the left. And the driveway goes straight through the middle. And the fast loop, I wasn't clear on the building, but you'll see it. I believe the fast loop, you actually drive through through the archway of the building. And then they've got the two archaeological easements you'll see. So it took a long time for Alaho. I don't know if you recall, but the history behind was a long time for one of our planners actually spent a lot of time working on this Alaho Street to go through this section because this easement to the south, they needed to work on this. I believe they had to work on the wall to get it shaped so that Alaho could come through like that, as I recall. So that took some time and going through different councils and whatnot. There's the elevation. So those are the 3 bay doors. So I believe they put those are glass bay doors. They pull those up and you would drive through them. And here's another archway. So I'm not sure exactly which ones you're driving through, or the applicant can explain more on that if it's necessary. And there's the colors, the red color, the tan color, and they've got some black trim. Let me get this zoom in on here. There's the color board with the charcoal gray, the country red, the tan, the siding, and the CMU wall color. Oh, here's the loop. Yeah, here's the, oops, sorry. There's the loops, the loop bay is going through, entering on one side and going out the other. There's a survey of the site. They changed the easement. There wasn't an easement that went right through the center of the lot, but they've amended the subdivision map, or however you would amend the easement, and put it on the south side of the property. They show that later on. Let's see if I can zoom in on here. They put it down here now. It's an easement down here. It's an easement for I think it's a utility easement, if I recall. Okay. Let's see into that. So car washes are permitted use in the General Commercial Zoning District. If the car washing is mechanized, it's required to have sound attenuated structures or sound attenuated walls that shall be erected and maintained on the property line. So that will be researched during the plan approval application. They'll have to provide that information, and will be part, if it is mechanized, then it'll be conditioned to have those sound attenuated structures or sound attenuated walls along the property lines. And then the loop portion of the car wash would be considered similar to a service station, and that's also permitted use, an automobile service station. So both are permitted in the CG zoning district. And then they also will come in for plan approval. They may also have already submitted plan approvals and waiting for this design review to take place. I didn't check that today, but the applicant can notify us if they've already submitted plan approval. Because just like the new duplex, a plan approval would be required for a new facility, new building prior to building permit. Any questions?
Could you, my question, could you identify
Mr. Young, go
exactly
ahead.
where they're located?
Where it's located?
Yes, Alaku Street and from Alaku Street.
Well, it's right up,
connect to-
it's right up of Henry Street, right across from the new Safeway Commercial Center, Neomalu Commercial Center. It'd be right above the Aloha gas station. You know where the Aloha gas station is off of Henry Street?
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be right above that on the right side, on the south side of Henry Street. Let me get that map out. You see, here's Henry Street. Up where that circle is, that's Henry Street. Let me get the pointer. That's Henry Street right there. And this big open space right here is not open. That's where the Safeway, new Safeway store is at the center called the Neomalo Commercial Center.
Mhm.
And then here's Queen Katamano Highway, and then this part of Henry Street leads up to Walmart. And then the Aloha gas station is to the south of them, or west rather, west. There's Aloha Gas, then Starbucks and
Mhm.
whatchamacallit, I can't think of it. I can see his
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. Jack in the Box. You can see his smiling face. Yes. So Starbucks, Jack in the Box, Aloha Gas, and then the loop and car wash should be right here next.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Roz, did you show us the landscaping plan?
Did I?
I don't remember
I
seeing.
don't think I did
I
have it.
thought I
Oh,
saw it
here's
in
one.
the,
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, here it is.
no, there should be one that shows the full site.
The full site.
Next
There it
page.
is. There it is.
Yeah.
And they did have their plants identified, and we see up here. I can't read it with a blowed up.
Okay.
I believe they also used plants from the master plan for Kailua.
Yeah. And so Roz, I believe that because the properties to the south of this are like RM and RS, I believe, something like that. And so there is a requirement in the CG, right, to have a landscape buffer between up to a residentially zoned property.
I believe so. So they're gonna have to fit in a 5-foot wide buffer here on their
Yeah.
south boundary. Yes.
Yeah, so I'll ask the applicant about what that's going to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if that's.
Uh, Commissioner, does anyone else have any questions for Roz?
I have one more question.
Okay, Commissioner Young, go ahead.
Yeah, egress, ingress on this particular project, both and on the Henry Street?
There's
No.
there's no egress on the Henry Street directly. They have an easement that comes off of Henry Street. So they'll be going, there's an easement that does go onto Henry Street, but then they come in off the easement, then go into the facility.
And that
And
that easement aligns with the traffic light, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just one way in and one way out then?
There's two ways. There's one way going into Alaho,
I
and there's
see.
one way going back out on the easement back out to Henry Street.
Okay. Any other questions for Roz?
Yeah, I have a question. Is this going to connect to our sewer line?
It's not near the shoreline.
sewer line.
And then the
Oh, sewer line. Oh, I would expect so. I don't know. It's not part of my review. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, we mean, yeah, the applicant will probably be able to answer that. Yeah. Okay, any other questions for Roz? Okay, not seeing anyone unmute. Thanks, Roz.
Okay.
Does the applicant have anything they'd like to present?
We think what Roz has presented here is fine. We can go back and forth.
Bill, if you can please introduce yourself, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Bill McCowett, applicant for Hawaii Lube LLC. And with me is Mark Leone. He's one of the owners, and also Locke Sutterquist. He's the architect for the project. So your question was, Sean?
Okay. So, well, I was giving you some space to present if you had anything you wanted to bring up, but we can go ahead and ask questions then, yeah?
I think overall, just to get people a little bit more dialed in, it was briefly mentioned, but there's a traffic light when you exit Safeway. So this is located, if we could look at the bigger map, Roz. There we go. Well, it's not the best either. Anyway, as you come out of the new, there we go. So as you come out of the new Safeway, at the top end of this purple outline property, the Malka end, there's a traffic light there. And the applicant will improve that signal to accommodate this, what will effectively be a new road to serve this parcel and the parcel above it. So there's already a traffic light, but it will be improved. Down below, of course, is another traffic light that gets you into the bottom of Niumalu and the Aloha Mart, Mini Mart, and so forth. And you can turn there and turn into the project. So you can come up from the bottom, or you can come in from the top, essentially. There's no direct in and out onto Henry Street. They're both handled by these smaller side roads. And then if we can go to the site plan. Okie dokie. So the way this works is these lanes at the bottom, you can't see my cursor, I don't think. There's a double lane there. So that's where cars line up to get into the car wash. They proceed through the car wash tunnel. And importantly, this tunnel is extra long and all made out of concrete walls and so forth. And you turn left to come out of the car wash, unlike every other car wash here. This will direct the sound towards Henry Street and keep it to the required amount for the residential units at the south side of this lot. So a lot of thought has gone into that, and a lot of a higher grade of machinery has gone into that has lower sound values and so forth. So given a lot of thought to that. And then as Roz correctly pointed out, most people will come into the loop from Alaho, drive through these through loop bays and exit through the upper one at the light that's by the Safeway store. So there is that. The archaeological preservation easements are already fully rock walled all the way around. And the requirements for that is that it be kept free of litter, weeded, and there'd be a sign posted. None of that got done in the past project past owners, tenure with the property. So Lex Brody will be a much better owner and much better at maintaining and respecting these archaeological enclosures. So there is that. You have seen the landscaping plan. I do believe it's all with approved plants that are on the approved list, done by a professional. And traffic circulation is what it is. And we do need to landscape and buffer the 5 feet on the bottom with the residential neighbors. So that's everything that comes to mind for me. Anything you'd like to add, Mark or Locke?
I have a question. What's your operation hour?
Commissioner Young, hold on. Let them finish their presentation and then we'll do questions, okay?
Yeah, my name is Mark Young. I'm the managing partner. Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, Commissioner Young, the hours are 7 to 5, Monday through Saturday, 8 to 5 on Sundays, which is our current hours of operation at our existing facility. There's a shared driveway on the upper portion between a 132 bedroom hotel that you guys already gave KVDC approval. Are you familiar with that?
No.
You guys,
Some of us are.
Yeah, it was just
The new commissioners will not have seen that. Yeah.
Okay, well, Commissioner or Chairman Roth, I've been working with that individual because we have by way of deed a shared driveway easement where we're both responsible for the design and construction of that. So I've been in touch with all the necessary county departments, traffic, in order to determine what needs to be done at the intersection. So most of the traffic will be happening out of there. The only real traffic coming up from Alaho would be potentially people exiting, maybe, but mostly I think it's people coming into the fast loop, because that's the way. You don't want them coming from. We just couldn't get them the traffic flow properly for the fast loop. With the car wash is going to be self-contained in the upper half, and they're going to be mostly exiting from the upper row. So if you notice, we went in there right when we closed on the property, and we totally cleaned up the arc sites. We cut all the trees down. We took all the rubbish out there. I hired a security firm to kick people off there every night. And then shortly after there, the state came by and cleaned up the upper lot. I don't know, you guys had to have seen that. They evicted 62 homeless people. I tried to get the owner of their upper lot to hire the same security firm to kick people out. But instead, they just put boulders there on that road that accesses the upper lot. So, you know, our intent is to make this, a first-class operation, hands down. Keep the homeless out of there and follow the letter of the law as far as the updated burial treatment plan. It was redone by Alan Hahn in 2013 and agreed by Drew Kanuha, which is actually a lineal descendant. The prior owner didn't do what they were supposed to do, and we're on our way to do that right now.
Okay, thank you. So commissioners, does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Did that, I think he answered your question, Commissioner Young. Yeah. I have a question about the landscape plan. Roz, if you could go to the landscape plan. And so on the landscape plan, there's sort of this shaded area that's shown between that the queuing area for the car wash and the south property line. And I couldn't find any call out for what that is. That's basically like, that's your 5-foot buffer.
Yeah, I can speak to that if you'd like, Sean. My name is Locke Soderquist. I'm the project architect.
Thanks.
And we are proposing a hedge along that line. Currently, there's a rock wall that varies in height from about 4 feet at the bottom to 6 to 8 feet up at the top of the lot. The landscape requirements do require us to add trees at 30 feet on center along that line. And we're planning to do that as well. There are homes that have kind of a diagonal view, you know, towards the ocean off the back of those parcels too. So that's something that we'll take into consideration in selecting those trees.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Yeah, because it was not, so that's something, it's not just low ground cover. It's going to be something a little taller. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, currently it's a rock wall, so there's a visual barrier there now, but there is a requirement to have a tall barrier that kind of diffuses activity, you know, the view of activity on our site. So we'll add that as soon as we determine which trees we want to put along that property line. But we'll show that.
Yeah.
And we would have that ready for plan approval. For when that's the trigger point is at the plan approval stage that we need to be 100% on.
It sounds like that you're going to have to show that 5-foot barrier, and it looks like there's a, you know, part of that rock wall might be encroaching a little bit into the property, and so you're going to have at least one point where there's sort of a real pinch there in order to get that 5 feet. It might be tough, but that also, it seemed, you know, from the view of the site I saw on Street View thing, it looks like at that point that rock wall on the edge of the property is quite tall. Is that true?
Yeah, it's pretty tall at that point. It's probably 8 feet tall, 6 to 8 feet tall.
Yeah, it might be taller than a hedge will ever be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when the trees come into play to kind of break that up a little bit more. So yeah, we'll make sure that there's the appropriate space for the landscape planting, you know, where we do have that encroachment, and make a minor adjustment to that drive aisle to make that work.
Yeah. And then I noticed that on the it looked like, yeah, they're on the south elevation. And so I appreciate what Bill is saying about how you're trying to turn the entry and so on, or the exit from the car wash to mitigate the sound. I see that there's no windows at all or other openings on that side. And so all the venting and everything from that equipment, you're basically thinking about blocking the sound. Yeah.
Right, 100%. Yeah.
And then from what Roz said, it seems like that's going to be more effective than anything on the property line, because the change in elevation means that any kind of sound barrier on the property line really is not going to be very effective. Yeah.
No, Mark can answer more detail about the sound thing, and that is the overall design intent. I think Locke, you can back me up on that.
Yeah, we have to capture the site with the sound with the building. Otherwise, we end up, we've had the calculations done and you end up with a wall that's 24 feet tall on the property line. And it's just not something that we want. It's a visual barrier, and it's easier to capture and deal with the sound inside the building. So yeah, you're right. There's no vents on that side. The building's constructed out of CMU concrete block. And then you make a right-hand turn out of the exit where all the dryers are that make all the noise.
Left hand.
And that noise is pushed towards Henry Street.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that the CMU is covered with stucco.
Okay. Oh, so it's not like split face or anything like that. It's stuck.
No, and it's not just plain block with but mortar grooves. It's
Okay.
I think the bottom portion may be locked. Please clarify that.
Okay.
The wainscot.
Wainscot is big rock veneer,
Right.
like lava rock.
Yeah. So lava rock at the wainscot, lower level, and then stucco over CMU block.
I forgot what they call it, but they fill the CMU with this I don't know, Locke, what do you call it? It's not actually concrete, it's something else.
Grout?
Yeah, grout. They fill the whole thing with grout. It's bulletproof. One of the things that has changed in the industry, ladies and gentlemen, is that big hydraulic power packs are not used to drive the mechanized equipment. It's all electric now. It's electric. I mean, they're e-drive motors. They're super quiet, and they only operate it when the vehicle is by it, so they stop. Whereas, our Kona one right now, it's all hydraulic. It can be noisy. Our Hilo one is all electric, so it's not noisy. The dryers can be noisy, but we ran into a similar situation. I had to spend an extra $100,000 to put in a whole new set of dryers because we were too noisy. So there are dryers that are super quiet, and we are going to employ these dryers. And that's why the tunnel's a little bit longer, because I need more dryers because they're less noisy in order to provide a quality product at the end of the tunnel. And you'll notice, and Locke had mentioned it, when you go through the tunnel, you're going to make a left-hand turn out of the tunnel. So it's fully enclosed at the end, except for the opening on a 20-foot door that's facing Henry Street. Yeah. So at the end of the day, everything's electric nowadays.
Okay. Commissioner Lucia, do you have a question?
Who owns the land above it? And is there any plans of what's going to be developed above?
Yeah, that's the hotel.
A new hotel is going to be developed above it.
Well, you guys approved it and it's got plan approval and they're in for a building permit. I did my due diligence when I looked at it.
Yeah.
So we're new on the board, so we didn't approve anything, but
Yeah, no worries. It's all good.
yeah. Okay, so a hotel. Okay.
There's a
Yeah,
hotel.
it's a dual branded, what did I tell you guys? A dual branded Marriott.
Okay.
It's the same owner that owns the Holiday Inn downtown, right on Kuakini.
Okay.
It's a guy named
Kona Inn?
Farouk, two Korean partners, I think. I actually went over to his house and had a chat with him.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay. Thanks. So any other questions for the applicant?
Oh,
Commissioner Kailua, go ahead.
I'm not sure it's for the applicant, but I was going to question the archaeological easements. What is going to be done with them? It's just going to lay as is?
As is, Commissioner Kailua. Again, the 4 requirements based on, and we're going to meet with Jerome, Drew's dad, just to make sure everything's cool. I mean, the updated burial treatment plan, when the county needed to basically clip off that one portion of the arc site on the bottom in order to allow for the Alaho Street. Yeah, you see it. Ross can show you. basically all the vegetation needs to be maintained at minimum level. All the trees need to be removed, and I've done that. I did that about a month ago. And I've got a landscape guy that's gonna go in there and just make sure everything's trimmed back and all the weeds are controlled through herbicide spraying, and all the rubbish from all the homeless was taken out. I looked at it today. I'm having him go back and do one more final sweep because there is some leftover rubbish in there. An access gate is to be installed at a location chosen by us, the landowner. It was never done there. You can see it on the plan. We got 2 of them on each side. And then a sign in conformance with the burial plan would be installed. And evidently Drew had given the prior owner 2 bronze plaques that I don't know, I haven't been able to locate. So we'll get together with the Kanuas to make sure we do it right.
All right.
And
So
we're not gonna touch anything in there except to keep it as.
So there were bones found on the development area?
I think there's 4 on that one site, or 3 in one. That's it, and they were left in place.
Cool. All right.
Okay, thank you.
I have one. I
Any
have
other
one.
questions? Commissioner Young, go ahead.
Look at this map. I just wonder, north side of the property, is the parking stall you have and each line is the parking stall?
Yes.
And on
The
your
ones,
left,
you mean the ones along Henry Street, correct?
right.
Yeah, so along Henry Street, each of those vertical dark lines is a parking stall, yes.
Then you have other parking stall toward to Alahu Street.
Employee parking.
Yeah, down there.
I know you designed already, it will be much nicer, less noise for the residential area if you flipped it and put the parking toward to the residential area, you put your machine in toward Henry Street. Would you think it much better?
No, it won't work.
No.
It's so complicated.
That's not parking either, Mr. Young. Those are vacuums on Henry Street. Those
Oh,
are
correct. You're right, Mark. Yeah, sorry
They're
about that.
12 vacuums. Yeah, I don't want those on the property line.
Could you repeat again? Could you repeat again if it's not a parking, what is it?
They're vacuums. Vacuum stalls.
Vacuum.
Vacuum.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, oh, so that's where people go to vacuum out their own car, right? Yeah.
I see.
So you want that on the other side, yeah.
I see.
Yes.
That's my question was, is the parking stall or what is it? On the
Yeah, my
front.
bad. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
I have just a comment.
Okay.
I'm familiar with Lex Brody's. I go there all the time. I see this is bigger than the one that you have down on Ali'i Drive, which is really cool. And because it's associated with Lex Brody, it's a name that's very kama'aina. So I appreciate everything you guys have been doing and are doing and will continue to do. Just to keep it kona. So mahalo.
thank you.
Yep.
Okay, okay, thank you applicants for answering all the questions. I'll start out discussion about regarding this application, and I'd say that initially when I just looked through it online, the main things I was concerned about is the boundary, the south edge of how it was going to be interacting with the residential neighborhood there. And I think that the clarifications from the applicant and then looking in detail about how they're, that's a CMU wall and the entrance is turned, and also looking a little closer at how the elevations are different there. I think that any concerns I had about that have been answered. I'm not concerned about that anymore. And so and it seems like the applicant has been very diligent about trying to to work with all the neighbors here, which is positive to me. And so I'm feeling like I'm in support of this application. Commissioners, would anyone else like to add anything to discussion?
Yeah, I need to.
Commissioner Greenwell?
Yeah, I need to recuse myself from this one. I've been in talks with these guys about being the civil engineer on this project, and we don't have a contract or anything yet, but I just think it would be inappropriate for me to weigh in any way. So I'm gonna, yeah, stay out of this one.
Thank you for telling us that. And luckily, we've got more than quorum today. So, okay, Commissioner
Excuse
Young.
me. Yes, you know, the map is not very clear. What is that area and have the black and the boundary and the both sides? Is it that ecological? I cannot read it.
Yes, those two darkly enclosed areas on the left, one along Henry Street and the one at the bottom, those are the archaeological sites. So whoever's controlling the cursor, could you put your cursor on the archaeological? Is that you, Roz?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so can you read that, Commissioner Young?
I could not, and it's very
Okay, well,
small.
it says
So we have
approved
two.
archaeological, approved archaeological easement.
Oh,
at the
yes, I
top
can see
here.
now.
Yeah.
Okay,
And the
perfect.
same thing at the bottom. And they've been there for many, many years.
Yeah.
As noted, they were kind of a homeless mess until Lex Brody bought them. And now they'll be a point of pride actually for the community.
Yeah,
How
those.
many acres on this property?
It's on the survey. Can you switch to the survey, Ron?
Yeah, it's like roughly 2.3 acres, but there's only 77,000 usable square feet on it.
There you go.
Yeah, 2.3. Yeah, but yeah,
2.38 acres.
you've got about a third of the site is taken up by the archaeological areas. Yeah.
Right, and there is a sewer line that runs through the property through this zigzag easement that you see along the south. Well, in the middle and then dropping to the south.
And a
So
12
there's
inch.
water and there's sewer in there. And then underground utility for electric is yet to be determined, but that will all be underground. So you won't see any.
Yeah, great. So commissioners, would anyone else have any other discussion items that you'd want to bring up?
Excuse me. And then the zone is a CG 2.5?
I believe so, yes.
CG 20.
Ross? CG 20, yeah.
It's CG 20, commercial, general commercial 20,000 square feet per building site.
Commissioner Lucia, are you unmuted to?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't have any questions.
Okay. No, I thought you were unmuted so that you could have some discussion about this application. So,
No.
okay. Well, if there's no more discussion, would anyone care to make a motion regarding this application? Someone besides Commissioner Greenwell.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, Commissioner Lucia has made a motion to approve this application.
I second.
And we have a second by Commissioner Kailua. Is there any discussion regarding the motion? Not seeing anyone on Commissioner Young? No?
No, I'm
Okay.
not unmute.
Okay.
I just think that to me.
So let's go ahead and vote on this motion.
Okay, Commissioner, we'll do a roll call vote. We'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Kailua, second of the motion.
Aye.
Commissioner Kern excused. Commissioner Kilkuski.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Costo.
Aye.
Commissioner Lucia, maker of the motion.
Aye.
Commissioner Young.
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. So we have 4 votes, so we need Commissioner Roth to make a vote.
I vote aye.
Aye. So that makes 5 votes. Okay, so the motion passes.
Motion passes. Okay,
Thank
Great.
you.
all right. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of Lex Brody's, thank you, commissioners. We appreciate this and we look forward to you washing your cars
Okay,
very soon. Thank you.
great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Aloha.
you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is administrative matters. Are there any administrative matters? I think we had the next, well, that's under announcements, but the next meeting is tentatively May 9th. Are there any other administrative matters or announcements?
No, Chair.
No? All right.
I know we had discussed about the possibility of maybe changing the time of the
That's
meeting.
on a different agenda item. Remember,
okay.
we already had this agenda already set, so that your question during our orientation meeting will be handled on a future agenda, the
Oh,
next
okay.
agenda.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so for the new commissioners, that you know, our start time also has sometimes been adjusted because we've been trying to have it be so that staff isn't forced to stay late, you know, for safety down at the Civic Center. And so that's why when we have more agenda items, sometimes the meetings ends up starting earlier, right? That's how it's been going lately. Well, I'd like to thank all of our new commissioners again. Thank you for being here and letting the county business be able to be commenced here. And looking forward to seeing all of you next time. Okay. So there's no further business. The meeting will be adjourned at 4:01 p.m.
Okay.
That's not bad for three pretty significant items getting through. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
Have
you,
a good
everyone.
night. Bye.
Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.